Here we have two General Electric branded corded telephones. I picked these up from an auction on the Digitan OK Will for a couple dollars. I found these interesting because the handsets appear to be identical to the telephone that my grandparents used to have in the kitchen many years back. I think that these are identical. This one has telephone numbers written on the speed dial thing, so I don't want to open that one up. The only difference I can see is that it looks like there are slightly different colors, and this is not like a yellowing color. This appears to be more of like a gray. Even the cord is different, so I'm wondering if these are two identical models just in a different color. This one is model 002K. Oh, that's the date code. Yeah, I'm hungry and it's late, so there's going to be a lot of mistakes and lack of focus in this video. This one is model 2-9214WHB. And this one is a different model. This one is 2-9050NIA. So this is the one we're going to actually check out in this video, so I'll use this model number as the title. Both of these are made in the Malaysia. So this one, the date code is 022K. I could see 2K being 2000, so this is probably February of 2000. By the same logic, that would put this one as maybe 2004, 4K, 4000. I've never seen it represented 4K before, but maybe this is April of 2004, perhaps. I'm not sure. I don't know when. Actually, I have the original instance. I got it out so that we could show it on the video. This is the telephone that was in my grandparents' kitchen, and I don't remember. Actually, I don't know, because I probably wasn't alive yet when this telephone was put in service. I have an old VHS home video that was filmed in the kitchen of that house back in, I believe, the 80s, and this telephone was not present yet. It actually looked like something like this. I suppose it's possible that this model was replacing that. I don't know. I didn't buy this because I thought that it was the model that my grandparents used to have. I have no idea what that phone was. I'll have to revisit that video. I bought it because it reminded me of this handset. So this telephone, I remember when this was still in service, but I don't think it was in service much, if at all, past the 2000s. In the 2000s, there used to be a crate of old telephones, like miscellaneous trimline phones and stuff, that I had over there that my grandfather just accumulated over the years. He is a lot like me, and he never threw anything out. So we had this box of telephones, and I liked telephones at the time, so I would play with the telephones over there. And I remember this got added to that crate sometime in the 2000s. And it was replaced with another piece of garbage, which I thought I had out, but I don't see it in this. Oh, here it is. It's behind some fan blades. It's a, actually I'm not even sure it has a brand. It's a really cheap piece of junk phone, but it had caller ID. And I'm thinking that it was replaced, this phone was replaced here in favor of that other one for the caller ID. I don't know. I can't think of any other reason why it would have been replaced. The speakerphone is busted on this. It never worked that I can recall. But I also never recall her using the speakerphone on the new one, so I don't think that was the reason. The handset, as far as I know, it still works. It worked the last time I used this, although it's been a long time. I don't know how much use this really got over the years. You know, at the time, my mother had her own telephone, my uncle had her own telephone, my grandfather had a telephone in his room, my grandmother had a telephone in her room, there was a telephone downstairs, actually there's two phones downstairs, One was at my grandfather's computer desk, the other one was behind the couch. It was a cordless, and this one was in the kitchen. So I don't know how much this was used. In later years, when the phone after this got replaced with another piece of junk phone, I remember that phone was used a lot. I always remember my grandmother talking on that phone in the kitchen. So I don't really know how much this was actually used. Doesn't have too much wear on it. I have a feeling this was not in service for very long. The date code on this one is 413M, and I just don't really know how that decodes anymore. So if anybody knows, let me know, because I'd be curious to know when this was installed. I would say this is probably from the 90s, my guess. And I would also guess it was probably in service for less than a decade. So there's this handset, and then there's this handset, and to me these are identical. I don't see any differences sans the model number on the information's tag. Ringer equivalence is the same. The FCC ID is one digit different. They're both made by the Thompson. They're both made in Malaysia. This one is also Thompson, made in Malaysia. Oh man, did the stinking telephone numbers on that speed dial just get into the video? I'll have to cut that part out. So that's that. I remember this telephone very vividly, both from the time that I had it, because I used to actually plug in all the telephones, and then I would call the Farmer Jones cold line. So I've literally been calling that number for probably over 2 decades at this point. And yes, all the telephones would be plugged in and ring at the same time as well. When I was over there, a lot. The other thing I used to do, which I just remembered, I remembered this vividly. The telephone here had an RJ11 plug for the handset. Both plugs are RJ11, which is very unusual. Typically the handset is the RJ7. I still have the original cord to this somewhere. I remember I used to take the curl cord off and replace it with just a regular, flat line cord, and that drove my grandparents nuts. Especially because it's very difficult to unplug this. You can see the latch, or whatever you want to call it, is set in there. And I remember my grandfather would always have to go get a very small screwdriver to get it out. I don't know how the heck I was getting it out. Maybe I had a screwdriver as well. I don't know. It's very possible. I used to do a lot of stupid stuff like that. But anyway, so that's the long-winded story of why I bought these telephones. I hope these work. I'd like to put this one up in my kitchen, if it works. Actually, this would be a good telephone for the bedroom too, because it has backlit buttons. Although I prefer something reliable in the bedroom, and Thompson is certainly not the first thing I think of when I think of reliability. However, these are made in Malaysia, which is generally a pretty good quality manufacturer, so maybe these are decent. So this one also has the RJ11 handset cord, but this one, oh my gosh, my arm is so beat up from trimming the bushes yesterday. This one, the cord appears to be permanently attached to the base, which I think is outrageous. I can kind of tolerate the line cord being permanently attached, because that doesn't really wear out, but this totally wears out with any amount of use that's substantial, and then it cannot be replaced. So that's dumb. By some miracle, the cord's still in very good condition though. Now, I don't know what's going on with these cords. This one comes out the top. There's got to be some way that this comes apart, I'm guessing. Here we go. What the heck? Okay. Well, that's not what I was expecting. This is what we call a dumb bass. There's no electronics in it whatsoever. It's literally just a pass-through. And the thing just plugs right into the wall. Huh. Ain't that something? Well, I guess it makes sense because the ringer is housed in the unit here somewhere. So there really is no reason to have any electronics in the bass. Wow, that's this must have been a very cheap economy grade model. Wow. Okay. Well, we need to take this out so that we can sit it flat on the table. General Electric. It wouldn't be a funky design if it wasn't General Electric. Okay. So we don't even really need this piece other than just to hang it up. Actually, all we need is this piece. Oh, for heaven's sakes. That's as much functionality as it even serves. That's it. And I guess this could also wall mount too, but wow. Okay. Well, that's interesting and certainly not what I was expecting. And this just makes a horrible knotted up mess out of the cord. And we want it to come out the top, so we'll stick it through this. Well, that's weird, but it works. Alright, let's find out if the phone itself works. Hopefully this is not a two-line splitter. I find it suspicious that something this useful is just floating around here. Ah, it's not a two-line splitter. Good. Okay, so the telephone is now connected. Seems to be working. A little green light there for the illumination of the buttons in low lighting. And it's very, very limited illumination, but in the dead of night, in a pitch dark environment, that's all you need. In fact, I'd prefer that as opposed to... This does not slip into the base nicely. I prefer that dim thing over the blaring bright white backlights on a lot of today's cordless telephones. Panasonic is notorious for that, and now unfortunately AT&T has kind of become notorious for that as well. And I guess by following suit, so has VTech. Or should I say VTech has, and then AT&T followed suit because it's the same product. Alright, so we'll start with the ring run low. Let's call this telephone. That's one of my favorite ringers. I tend to associate that ringer with pizza because there was an excellent pizza restaurant that used to have a telephone, I guess by GE perhaps, and I remember hearing the telephone when we would eat pizza there. Of course, I never hear the telephone at home as well, but at home, there was always several other phones ringing, so it wasn't as distinct as if it was just this one unit by itself. Put it up to high. It's not much louder. It's definitely a difference, but it's not that loud. It sounds like the piezo is inside there with no outside speaker. There should have been a little hole somewhere to let the sound out. Yeah, I thought maybe there's a chance it would come out through there as well, but it doesn't sound like. It actually sounds like it's somewhere on the bottom. Well, it's ringing good and strong. The piezo is still working properly. There's a coin cell in these for the memory. You should take that out of both of these before it spoils. Alright, let's go over to the mains and let's make an outside call. The switcher is all static. He needs to be deoxided. Well, for nostalgia purposes, we'll go ahead and call the Farmer Jones code line. It's a little bit sticky. The heck is that? I must have pushed too many numbers too soon. I'm going to call something crazy.
And winery. This is the crop report message for the week of March 10th through the 16th. The winery's tasting room is open under our 2025 spring schedule, which is Friday, Saturday, and Sunday from 12 p.m. till 5:30 p.m. Our winery's website is the best resource to learn about our wine offerings. Jones.
There's no volume adjustments, so that's all you get. It sounds okay. It's clear, but it's very kind of like hollow sounding. You can it really sounds like a telephone. It doesn't sound very lifelike. It's a little disappointing for a corded phone. I can't tell if that background hum is from the phone or from the Farmer Jones code line, which today had Farmer Keith on it. I don't hear it now, so. It was the Farmer Jones code line.
9:32. Current temperature at 47 degrees.
It sounds decent. It's just not as rich and lifelike as I would have hoped for out of a corded telephone. Alright, the incoming audio is fine. We'll go ahead and call the testing answering machine. I'll record a bunch of stupid messages in there so we can see how it sounds on the outgoing audio. The 4 key, the 7 key, and the star key don't feel quite right. I think the chances of getting this apart to fix it are probably very, very slim. Oh no. The microphone is such that it picks up a lot of wind noise from your snout. That's unfortunate. Doesn't seem like it picks up a lot of wind noise from the speaking though.
3 new messages and 9 old messages. Message 1.
Oh no. The microphone is such that it picks up a lot of wind noise from your snout. That's unfortunate. Doesn't seem like it picks up a lot of wind noise from the speaking though.
Message 2.
Hey Bill, it's Frank. Weather was really nice today. Got up to about 47.2 degrees in my yard, and it's just really starting to feel like spring out. It's great. I'm enjoying it. So now that it's not as cold, it's likely that we're going to have the skunk coming around again, and I'm getting a little concerned that it might spray the electrical panel. So such a stupid message. I'm trying to remember where this originated from. I know it's lasted through so many of these telephone messages. I don't remember why I came up with that originally, but it's so stupid and it's funny.
Message 3.
It's really fun to talk on this phone again. There's nothing like the nostalgia of finding some equipment that you remember from many years ago and using it again.
End of messages.
Works fine. Kind of like the incoming audio. There's nothing really wrong with it. I've just heard better. The only thing I don't like about this telephone is that it seems like if you don't put it directly flat, like it won't kind of like fall into place real easy like a trim line does. It's like that on either side. Actually, I think it's quite easy for it to get caught up like that. Anyways, it's working. The cord thing is a little weird. I suppose what I could do is I could just cut the cord off of the cord. Oh, that's just brilliant. I could cut the end off of the cord of any random 25-foot cord and kind of custom build it with this and use it in the kitchen that way, because putting this on the kitchen wall, the cord is just too short really to be practical. I don't even think it would really reach the table, and I wouldn't want to use a cord like this stretched out all the way all the time, because this cord is pretty much unable to be replaced at this point, or probably never was. It's a weird size. It's got a weird feeling to it. It's a non-standard cord, even though it really should be something that's totally standard. So I don't want to use it in a use case where it would get wrecked. So what I'll probably do is assuming this one works, I'll use this one in the kitchen on the wall, because I can get a white cord that matches this. This is like an off-white or a gray. You know what this reminds me of? Uniden had a finish called Dove Gray, and that's what this looks like. I don't know if I have any cords in that color or if I could get one, but I know I can definitely get a white one. So that's probably what I'll do. It should be fairly simple, because it just replaced the one end actually replaced both ends with a 45. Although most cords aren't going to fit through this little slot there, so that might spoil that idea. Well, you know what? Maybe I'll just have to use it somewhere else.